My name's Dan Smith and I am the founder and managing director of Student Housing Consultancy. We are an operational management consultancy working with investors, operators and developers of student accommodation worldwide. It's extremely useful because it's quite rare to be focused purely on the operational side of things. There's a lot of investor conferences. I think the operational nature of the student housing industry in my particular focus is something that does go amiss, and so that focus on tech and ops in particular is very, very important moving forward. For me, it's about people. It's about any kind of organisation within real estate where you're talking about a resident. So there might be a student resident, it might be a senior resident, but anywhere where there is some kind of focus on the customer being a resident. That's our primary focus, to be completely honest. So we are always thinking about how to make sure that we are one step ahead in the operational game within student housing. We're also looking at BTR and co-living and other areas too, but it is paramount that we are so focused on the resident, on the student in particular within PBSA, as to what their needs are, try and meet them, not just now, but in the future as well. Think quite how labour intensive it is. It's a very, very labour intensive industry. It's very focused on people. There's a lot of people talking about tech, and obviously it's a tech-enabled business, but it shouldn't be a tech-led business, in my opinion. It should always be focused on your employees, your staff, and how well focused they are on looking after the resident in particular. I think we are now very much in the sort of customer-centric age, where we are focused purely on what our customers want. It's a very competitive market out there. There are some markets where there's a bit of a supply crunch, for example. Student housing is a prime example of that, where you could neglect the customer if you really want to. But there's such a focus on how important the operations are that I think that customer-centric approach will continue to go forward and continue to grow. I think it's brought it closer together. So I think previously investors were able to kind of sit in ivory towers, and now very much they have to think about the story that they're portraying to their residents and their customers through the operational management partner. That's something that increasingly residents are looking for, in particular how sustainable the asset is, what's the governance and the social responsibility policies of the investor or the building owner, and ultimately making sure that aligns, that brand and that investor aligns with the resident's own personal brand. I'm super focused on ESG, and part of that is driven by the student need for ESG and the focus of students. They're starting to vote with their feet. They're choosing student accommodation operators based on how sustainable they are or how socially responsible they are. And so it was really interesting to just hear those different perspectives on ESG from within the various different sectors of the operational real estate industry.